I was thinking about the world and what's happening in the world, and how a lot of what I call the crises that we're experiencing in the world is avoidable. However, we feel so hopeless as individuals to be a part of seeing transformation and change. People are probably like, how can you be planning a retreat when the world's falling apart? If I was just planning an adventure to just explore and have fun, that it didn't have any real content, I could understand that. I could understand that judgment. But what we are creating in the Magnetize Retreat isn't just about how do I get to live the life that I want to live. Because in a lot of ways, that's what many people are desiring. They're saying, how do I get the things that I want out of life? But they're not thinking about how their life plays a role in the world that we live in, how their gifts, talents, and abilities are a part of this beautiful life that we're experiencing, and how them anchoring into their unique gifts, talents, and abilities and focusing on intentional community, sacred community, how that relates to transforming the world. I was looking at the things that I am here to support humanity with. The system that we see in the world actually lives within us as well. It runs our relationships. It runs how we interact with one another. It runs with how we are intentional or not when it comes to community. It runs our fears. It runs our actions and how we show up. From the beginning of this work that I've started way over 20 years ago as a young girl, everything that I have done was to help communities understand how interconnected they are, to understand how they can support the shared thriving through education, through expanding their awareness, and through practices that embody that expanded awareness, that responsibility to their fellow human. I can look throughout my career, I can look throughout the things that I've created and understand that what I do is I share and teach practices that help us embody intentional community. What is intentional community? I'll use the words that I used when I wrote Healing Our History and Co-Creating a Culture of Oneness. I want to live in a world that is fair and just, where everyone is valued equally and no one has to justify how they show up in the world. Since then, I've added a place where everyone's physical, social, and emotional needs are met and all feel safe, seen, and celebrated. That is the picture of intentional community. That is what it looks like to create a world that works for us all. It means that we see each person, each individual in front of us as unique, but absolutely necessary, absolutely sacred, that they are sovereign and they get to make choices and live in a way that commands their experience. But they do this knowing that their sovereignty does not usurp the sovereignty of another. It means that they are sovereign over their choices and their life, but they don't get to make choices for other people. It means that we all know what is best for each of us. that we're interconnected. And so everyone's social, physical, and emotional needs need to be met. No matter how they show up, they are worthy to be safe, seen, and celebrated. Now, I don't think we know how to do this. This isn't something that we have practiced as a humanity. I actually think that this is something we're evolving to. I don't think that this is something that on this planet, in this world, with this form of humanity, that we know how to do. We have the capacity for great good in the same way we have the capacity for great evil. Our socialization is something that we have inherited from those who came before us. Ways of being that created separation and beliefs of superiority, hierarchy between us. Ways of living that said, me first. It's either me or them. But to quote one of my favorite musicals, the world is wide enough for all of us. There is nothing that this world has to offer that cannot include everyone. And so the first thing that really needs to happen is that needs to be a change in our awareness as humans. We need to begin to, one, value one another in that way. We need to begin to see that this life isn't just about us getting all the things that we want, all the things that we desire, all the things that we think we deserve more than another person. This world is about us learning how to co-create and collaborate and coexist in a way that honors our shared thriving, our shared success, that everyone is equally valuable, powerful, necessary, and sacred. So we must value that. We must value that with integrity. And that is something that I don't think we as a collective, as a society, have practiced. No, we've practiced hierarchy. We've practiced America first. We've practiced citizens first. We've practiced straight people first and only. We've practiced this religion first. We have a problem with hierarchy. We don't understand what equality looks like. And we will make excuses as to why equality is a problem, when it actually is a value of the universe. It is a divine property of the universe. It is balance. It is sacred balance. One of the things that I teach is how do we get our thoughts, our emotions, and our actions in alignment with the truth of equality? And what does that look like in everyday life? You know, this is usually where I get people, because I don't believe that there should be such a stark difference in how much people get paid. There should not be people who work 40 hours a week and still are struggling to meet their basic human needs. Everybody has the same 24 hours in a day. I remember in high school how it was frowned upon, oh, you got to get an education so you won't be flipping burgers and I also remember during COVID that people who were cashiers and people who worked in fast food, that they were out exposing themselves as essential workers in the same way that doctors and nurses and first responders were. There were people who worked behind desks, that got to stay safe in their homes. And I thought, that's interesting. We're not going to pay them as essential workers. We don't see their work as essential, and we don't pay them as such. But they're out here with the doctors. They're out here with the first responders. Something's wrong here. We've gotten something wrong. And so I think that one of the things that we really need to begin to think about is how we value others and how we diminish the value of others. Is it in alignment with equality and justice? And if it is not, are we being intentional? Are we creating a place where everyone feels and is safe, seen, and celebrated? If we are not, that is an area where we need to get into alignment.